I have less than 8 minutes to show you how to build out a video content strategy or this entire place blows. Mission accepted. But we don't have a lot of time, and this is not about to be the last video that I ever make, so let's get into it. There's 5 core steps to a successful video content strategy, and really I would say it's more like a holistic content strategy with a heavy emphasis on video. Step 1, before we get into all the sexy stuff and making videos, we need to diffuse something that potentially could blow up in our face later on, which is getting clear on why we're making video content in the first place. What are our goals? What are we trying to accomplish with our content? Look, we got a choice to make right now. We cut the black wire and our content goals become the same as what average people think they should be, which is get attention, book more demo calls. Let's get more awareness for our company. That's what our content goals will become if we cut this wire. But we're not going to do that because that's not the route we want to go. And that's not the goal of your content. Now, the other approach is that we cut the white wire. Now, we cut the white wire and something totally different happens. Our content goals become about making our target audience or customer aware of the problem that you solve. Show them that it's solvable by educating and edutaining them and positioning your brand as the go-to company to solve that problem when they're ready. And I'm willing to bet this is the right one. Now look, the views, the attention, the brand awareness, the inbound leads, the customers, the revenue, all of that will come as a result of us having the right goals around our content and what we want to accomplish. This builds the foundation for everything to come. Now every piece of content that we create, we sort of have a filter or a lens to put it through to know that we're on the right track. All right, clock's ticking. We don't have a lot of time, so let's move on to number 2. We need to get reconnaissance on your customer, on your target audience right now. We need the insights. We need the data from them. So we're going to do a little bit of research here. I need us in the field with eyes on target. We need to be talking to current customers and prospects. Yes, we're going to take the time to interview them around things like their pain points at a deep level, their belief system around those pain points, their insecurities, their challenges, their desires, dream states, the buyer journey that they typically go on, what they search for in terms of content. And then we're going to analyze you and your company. Why do customers buy from you specifically? How are you unique versus everyone else in your industry? What's your unique perspective or angle on the industry that others don't have? What's the story that you're telling? Now, all of that data and those good insights are going to help us form step number 3, which is establish your pillar content and your content channels. In other words, what are you going to post and where are you going to post it? By pillar content, all I mean is the topic or topics that you're going to be creating content around and that also align with number 1 and number 2. Think about you being known for something in your content, a certain area of expertise. That's what we're going to build around. It's not to say that you can't jump outside the box and start talking about other things at times, but these are going to be our pillars, the foundation of it all. Because if we talk about a bunch of different things every single day, no one's going to know what we're an expert in. No one's going to think of us as the thought leader in the industry. We want our audience and potential customers to say, this is the person you want to go to if you need to know anything about X, Y, and Z. Now listen to me closely because this next part is very important. This is the difference between this mission being a success and this mission being a failure. There's 2 core types of content that I want you creating. The first one is the why content. This is explaining to your customers and your audience, making them aware of the problem in the first place, why they need to solve it, what it can do for their business or for their life if they do solve it. And then the second kind is the how content. Now that they know they have a problem, they know why it's urgent, they know why they need to solve it. You need to teach them how to actually solve it. Show them that it's solvable. Give them the strategies, the tactics, the techniques. And don't worry, sometimes they'll go apply it on their own, but there's nothing like your service, the context that you provide, the background, the experience, the results that you bring to the table if they were to choose to work with you. So that's the pillar content side of things, but remember, we need to select our content channels. When you're thinking about content channels, you should be thinking about owned content channels, which are things like your website, your content library, your newsletters, your blogs, podcasts, events that you run, anything that you actually own. You're not waiting for an algorithm to necessarily distribute that content out. You have complete control of it. Nobody can take that away from you. And then you've got rented content channels. Rented content channels, for the most part, are your social media platforms, which yield a lot of opportunities. And you definitely want to be on those channels, but you don't own them. At any point, algorithms can shift, platforms come and go, but that's where you're going to build on places like LinkedIn and YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. So you want a nice balance between you're building on your own land, but you're also capitalizing on the high worth rented land. And ideally, you're driving people to both. The people on the rented go to the owned. The people on the owned also go to your rented. And if you know how to repurpose content really well, which I show you how to do in this video here, you'll find a ton of creative ways to work both of these at the same time. Now, in terms of what content channels to select, I would think about a couple different things. One, think about a channel or an opportunity or a medium or a type of content that you're comfortable doing the next few years. A podcast might sound good, but can you do it the next 2 years? I would also also consider, where are your customers at? Now, part of this was figured out in the customer analysis and the insights, but where do your customers hang out at? The last thing you want to do is set up on a channel where your customers just aren't there. And then the last thing is, you want to make sure there's a good opportunity to grow there. So ideally, you've got some good organic reach, or maybe you're on a channel that hasn't been tapped into, it hasn't been super saturated yet, because that gives you more of an opportunity to grow in your niche. Number 4, wait, we're running out of time. We need to align your home bases. Your home bases are anywhere that a potential customer would go after seeing your video content. So think websites, landing pages, social media profiles, content channels, booking or opportunity links. And our goal with these is that when a potential customer lands on one of these home bases, that they convert at the highest possible percentage. Otherwise, what's the point of creating content? We don't want them to just follow us or just like or just drop a comment. We want them to go other places, start conversations with us there, create opportunities with us there. And to do that, we need clear and intriguing messaging that aligns with number 1 and number 2. That's why we start there first. We need social proof and testimonials. Customer success stories should live on our home bases. For example, if a potential customer is on your LinkedIn page or your website and you don't clearly lay out what they should do next or what their options are, if they want to book a call with you, it's easy to book a call with you. If they want to experience something else, you make it frictionless. If they want to consume more content, you've got that for them laid out. If we don't do that, they're going to bounce on our home bases and bounce right off. And of course, you want to make it clear why you're different and why you're unique in your industry. If it's a website, you want your pricing available. Be transparent about that stuff. Otherwise, they're going to go try to get it from someone else. And of course, you've got things like frequently asked questions that you want to be answering on there, and access to your content library and additional content. Now, from an internal perspective, you want to make sure that you're tracking as much as you possibly can on the customer buyer journey. So if someone's booking a call with you, and let's say you're using Calendly, you want to make sure that you've got a form on your Calendly or on your booking link where you ask, how did you first discover me? Leave it open-ended too. Let them explain, because sometimes they'll tell me, I saw one of your TikTok videos, but actually I've been following you on LinkedIn for the past 12 months. And then what you do from there is, when you get in person with them on a meeting, then you explore that journey even more. And that goes right back into our customer insights and data, so that we can create better home bases and better content. And then of course, you can use the social media platforms to track engagement and views, impressions, click-through rates. There's third-party tools, and then there's also pretty good analytics on most platforms these days. But you need to know what's performing, what's not, where are we actually getting inbound leads from, and where are we not. This is how you start to build the ROI case for video content. Okay, we're running out of time. I got to move to step number 5, which is building out your content process and operations. And it's best we go behind the scenes with this one, so I can show you what it looks like when the lights and the cameras turn off. Cut the lights. So you can have the best strategy in the world, but if you don't have an airtight process to go with it, you won't stay consistent, especially with video. A good video content process is like a good secret agent. It accomplishes the mission, but nobody even knows we were there. Now, I made a whole video on this right here, but due to the lack of time, I need to summarize this very quickly. So here's a few important things when it comes to your content process and operations. You definitely want to set up a project management tool like a Trello, ClickUp, or Airtable, and organize it so ideas and raw content come in one side and ready to be posted content comes out the other side. Use automation to streamline this process as much as you possibly can. Ensure you've got the right people in the right roles. You technically could do all this yourself, but at minimum, you'll probably want someone to edit the videos and or manage the content process. Put in place your content posting schedule or content calendar. I recommend you get a couple weeks ahead on this stuff so you have some wiggle room. There's a lot more that I can cover in this video. It's a good thing I wasn't in that building. You see, when I cut the lights, I swapped the live stream footage out with the pre-recorded video and then snuck out the back. That's the power of video. You don't have to be anywhere at any specific time. In fact, you can be anywhere with anyone doing anything, and your videos continue to play. They continue to build brand. They continue to book calls with potential customers 24/7, 360. ABS, you have another content mission if you choose to accept it.